Southbound. I think they're gonna be eaten in one form or another. That's part of life out here. We've crossed over the Andes once again, and this side shouldn't be a surprise, but it is much drier. Check out these pumps. They are covered with stickers from other overlanders. Little pollo la plancha, and looks like a chicken fried steak with French fries. And when I say Patagonia, I mean Patagonia. It was windy last night. So Jorge's bike rack has been through hell. These are all gringos, Americans, and it feels really good to catch up with everybody. Well, we got up early this morning, and guess what? We got the epic view. We are taking overnight gear because we are going to spend the night up there. Nothing like home sweet home. But I have shrimp, pasta, and right there is Cerro Torre. But this region of Patagonia is just magical. Buenos dias, amigos. We are still here in Chile, but we have left the Carretera Austral. We've turned off on road X83. Now this is going to take us from the Carretera Austral over the Andes, and we are going to Argentina. We're super excited as we've been in Chile a couple of months, and it has been just amazing. All right, so come along with us today. We're going to be going to some really awesome parts of Patagonia. Well, I find us back at the Argentinian border. On the X83 road, we just had a scenic drive through Patagonia National Park, Chile. Oh, this is a very small border, and we hear it's kind of rustic. So we'll see what that means. We are stamped out of Chile. The vehicle's import is canceled. Now we're going to Argentina. We are back in Argentina. The vehicle imported, get us stamped in, and then we're really in.
So when we started this journey, I had only used a couple of pages in my passport, and now I only have 3 empty pages left, and we still have 6 border crossings to go.
All right, we just got stamped in to Argentina. Just has to do a quick inspection of the van, and we're set. Southbound. How many border crossings have you been to where there's chickens and fresh eggs? Come to Argentina. Now these borders are really remote. Like, we're a long ways from the nearest town, and I have to think these chickens are here for these soldiers that man the border. And I think they're gonna be eaten in one form or another. That's part of life out here. Well, here we are at our first camp in Argentine, Patagonia. We've crossed over the Andes once again, and this side shouldn't be a surprise, but it is much drier. But we got through the border at Chile and Argentina. We drove just a little ways further, and now we found this kind of cool place to camp that is right underneath this really awesome cliff. And I gotta tell you, it feels a lot more remote and wild over here. But there are these big mountains surrounding us that have glaciers and snow. Honestly, it's just really beautiful. And it just reminds me of how much I like variety, of how great it is to live in a place where you can have mountains with forests and streams, and then you drive over the other side of the mountains and you've got more desert. That's how I feel right now. It reminds me a lot of that, although this landscape here is just gorgeous and there's hardly anybody around. Tomorrow we got to get up early and hit the road because tomorrow's a big drive day. So I don't know, this place is amazing. Chile and Argentina, man, it is great here. Okay, it's kind of that sweet light time of the day. The sun's getting low. We're actually in the shadows, and I'm gonna run around with my camera, make some pictures, and just kind of wind down from a day of driving. But we'll see you guys in the morning. This morning we woke up, it was very rainy, and so we left camp. Now we're on this rocky, corrugated dirt road heading to Ruta 40, which Ruta 40 is one of the main arteries of a highway that runs north-south through Argentina. It goes from all the way at the top to all the way at the bottom, so it's a very long road. And Ruta 40 will be paved. We'll be able to air our tires back up and go at higher speeds, which will be really nice to get us to our next spot. But this countryside is beautiful. We're really enjoying driving through here on kind of a soggy, rainy day. The clouds are low. It's interesting scenery. So here we go. We're trying to get to Ruta 40. Well, here's Parque Nacional Patagonia. Turns out on the Chilean and Argentinian side, there's a national park for Patagonia, which I can see why. It is stunning here. Shouldn't be too much further before we reach Ruta 40, and we'll hit the blacktop and be able to move a little faster though. We have made it off X83 is what we use to go from the Carretera Austral to Ruta 40. We are down to 30 in the front, 40 in the back, and that just smoothed out the ride a little bit on all the rocks and corrugation. So we just stopped here. We've aired back up here on the side of the road. All right, it feels like it's been about a week on dirt. So it's gonna feel good to just kind of buzz along a nice highway. We're about to jump on 40, southbound. We're at the first gas station we found going south on Ruta 40 here in Patagonia. Check out these pumps. They are covered with stickers from other overlanders. There are so many stickers here, it is making a patina, a thick crust of stickers from so many travelers coming through here. I think we're on the right track. All right, we're getting a little gas station grub. You guys always want to see what it looks like, so here it is. A little pollo la plancha, and looks like a chicken fried steak with french fries. We got some llamas in the street.
I think those are vacuna.
Ah, yeah, there's probably 40 of them here. Good morning, Patagonia. And when I say Patagonia, I mean Patagonia. It was windy last night. It's beautiful. But today is my day. The thing that I dreamed about when I dreamed of coming to South America was to go to this one place. The place that is even shown on many of the jackets and clothing that we like to wear. This is the place that makes the skyline that you see on their brand label, the mountains that are behind the words Patagonia, and it is Cerro Torre, Fitzroy, and that whole massif of mountains there. That is where we're going today. I'm so excited because I remember back in the late 90s, my friend Dre and I climbed Half Dome, and we were so excited as rock climbers, and we kind of made a pact that in 2000, we were gonna come to Patagonia and we were gonna climb one of the great Patagonian spires. Well, for a million reasons, that didn't happen. Did other things. We did a lot of climbing in the US and Europe and all over the place, but we never made it to Patagonia. It has always been a place I wanted to come, one as a climber, but two, just to see it, because I think it's gonna be one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. So Jorge's bike rack has been through hell. And I mean that affectionately because it is a really nice bike rack. This is a Kuat bike rack. I think almost anybody would say they're one of the top of the line bike racks. And he's got his e-mountain bike on it. This bike rack has been all over the United States. I think he's even had it up into Canada, Africa, all over Europe. Yeah, this bike rack has been around the block. And when we were in Mexico, in Baja, one of the bolts that holds the whole main tray together snapped. But we came up with a fix from a Mexican hardware store. We just got a cheap bolt there, and it has gotten us all the way to Patagonia from Baja. Well, this morning, Jorge was going around and doing his pre-flight checks, and he realized that the bolt had broken again. Being the smart guy that Jorge is, he had a spare bolt. I think it's one of the Mexican bolts, right? You bought two. So we're in the process right now of putting on the second bolt and making this bike rack hopefully make it all the way back to the United States with the help of this new bolt. I think a new bike rack is in Jorge's future. If you work or know someone at Kuat Bike Racks, send me a message because I'll pass it on to Jorge because he's definitely going to need a new bike rack. And if you want someone who can put a bike rack through some torture and find out what's going to go wrong with it, it's this guy right here. We're going to get it fixed up, and then we're on to El Chaltén. It is windy. I mean, really windy, like 2 hands on the steering wheel. Patagonia is known for a place of really harsh weather, crazy winds, and an amazing environment because of it. But we are getting tiny little glimpses of the famous mountains. We're gonna drive on in here. We've got about 50 more kilometers. All right, we made it to El Chaltén. Look at this. These are all gringos. They're all Americans. We have run into a bunch of friends here, and it feels really good to catch up with everybody. Everybody here is on the Pan American, and we've been following each other on Instagram and social media, and it's been really fun to watch everybody's trips. So super cool. This place is turning out to be awesome. And looky here, we have Fitzroy popped out of the clouds, just kinda, but you can see it, and it is awesome. So excited to be here. This place is great. Look here, we got a Montana license plate, but there's a couple of families here from Utah. There is our friends Molly Mish are here from California, and Overland for Good is here from Utah. You remember them from when we were in Bolivia together, stuck in the Salar. Super fun to see everybody. Good morning, Patagonia. So yesterday we drove in. It was a little cloudy and rainy, and I couldn't see the mountains, and it was honestly a little sad for me because I had this vision of driving into El Chaltén and getting this epic view. Well, we got up early this morning, and guess what? We got the epic view. There it is, Fitzroy, Cerro Torre, the whole group. I don't know if I've ever seen a place as beautiful as this. This is amazing. We are going on a big hike today. And when I say hike, I mean we're going to Laguna Torre. We are taking overnight gear because we are going to spend the night up there and get to see Cerro Torre in the evening and again in the morning. We're about to load up here into Jorge's van, and he's going to drive us to the trailhead so we can leave our rig parked here at the little Overlander campground here just outside of town. Let's do this. Okay, it's saying 8K to the campground that we're going to stay at tonight. Now, this is kind of a big day because this is Kathy's first big hike with her newly injured ankle. I say newly, it was like 5 months ago. But we're gonna check it out and see how it does. Here's our first views of Fitzroy, which is the one here on the very top. Let's see right there. And then Cerro Torre is right here. It's so amazing for me to be here and get to see these firsthand. I've dreamt of seeing these mountains for a long time. All right, I think we are making progress. We are up in the valley now. And I think it's just gonna get even better as we get further in here. There's quite a few people coming in here, but it does have a very international feel. You're hearing a lot of different languages being spoken. That's always kind of fun. Now this hike we're doing to Laguna Torre, it's a popular day hike. You know, this is about 6 miles one way. And so a lot of people just come in here for the day and then hike out. But I really wanted to come in here and be able to get a sunset and a sunrise. I want to be able to photograph it. So that's why we're gonna spend the night. And also, we just like sleeping out in the tent and being back in wild places. So this is gonna be a really nice treat because we have done a lot of sleeping in the van, and it's gonna be really nice just to get back in here, get unplugged, and enjoy a night out. I think we're already wishing we had more food and that we could just stay out longer. I'll tell you about our food a little bit later when we get to camp and I pull it out. It's a little untraditional. All right, the middle part of this hike is just kind of wide open and flat. There's a few little ups and downs, but it's really beautiful. Got great views of Cerro Torre, and I'm starting to see the top of Fitzroy peeking up over here, which is pretty cool. We are close. We are really close. Camp is just right up here. We can't quite see it yet, but we're in these bushes. And I'm excited to drop this pack, set up the tent, then go exploring. We're gonna be camping right below the moraine. What is a moraine, you might ask? Well, a moraine is the very end of where a glacier has been. It pushes all the debris down the valley and it makes a big pile of rocks and gravel. Some of them can be quite large. Nothing like home sweet home. This time we're in the Patagonian forest here, and this is a really cool spot. This is the designated campground here. And there's a handful of other campers here. It's not super crowded, but there are people around. So normally when we go backpacking, we carry a lot of our favorite dehydrated food, which a lot of times is by a brand named Backpacker's Pantry. But we have a few others that make some really tasty treats, and they're all dehydrated. They come in their own little bag. You just boil water, pour it in the bag. It cooks in the bag. 20 minutes later, you're eating, gosh, like my favorite is pesto salmon pasta that is just so good. I could be served it at a restaurant and would be very pleased. Here in Argentina, when we decided we were going to do this backpacking trip, we started thinking, what do we have? Do we have any dehydrated food? Normally we have a little bit of it in the van, but we only had one dish and it wasn't going to be enough. So we went shopping around town looking for dehydrated food at the camping stores. Well, things in Argentina are very expensive right now. And a meal, a Backpacker's Pantry meal, would maybe be $12, $15 maybe. Well, here we're finding them $25 and up for even like one serving. And really there's no choice. There's only like a few things and it's really slim pickings. So we decided we just weren't gonna pay that much to eat out tonight here camping. So Kathy came up with a plan. She was gonna cook up a bunch of food and we were just gonna bring it with us. Now, I know this isn't the lightest way to go. There's much better ways to do this, but I don't know if it's gonna taste as good. Let's see here. I'm gonna show you what I've got for dinner. But I have shrimp, pasta, and green peas. This is gonna be really tasty. And it's one of those things that it's just as good cold as it is hot. Well, maybe it's a little better hot, but it's gonna be fine. We also fried up a bunch of potatoes. These are in our air fryer back in the van. And we've got just some nice potatoes here. And that is gonna be dinner for tonight. On top of that, we supplemented with some granola bars and some things that we could find in the local store. But we're doing it a little different tonight. And you know, I think it's gonna be all right.
I think it's going to be great. I'm pretty excited about that. It's definitely heavier, but totally worth it.
I'm going to walk up and take a look at Cerro Torre. Well, here it is, Laguna Torre, right at the bottom of Cerro Torre. It's kind of windy right here right now. I don't think that's a surprise. But other than that, it's a beautiful day up here. I'm looking down below at icebergs in the lake that have come off the glacier over here. They float across the lake and they get beached on the shallow side over here. Some of these chunks of ice are just glowing radiant blue. They're kind of floating. Some of the small ones are floating. The big ones are sitting on the bottom here in the shallow water. And right there is Cerro Torre. And I can't wait to do some photographs tonight of Cerro Torre and then again tomorrow morning. There it is, an awesome day in Patagonia. The sun has just set. Cerro Torre was glowing in the afternoon light, and I'll be back first thing in the morning for alpenglow. All right, I'm gonna walk back down to camp and call it a night. It's 5:20 a.m. I'm walking back up to the lake now. Hopefully it's gonna be a very dramatic sunrise. Okay, I'm set up here at the lake and the near full moon is out right off to the side of Cerro Torre. It is really spectacular. It's lighting up the clouds with a nice little rim light. I think this is going to be a glorious morning. We're going to have some beautiful alpenglow on the peaks here, and we've got some cool clouds to play into the mix as well. I always like that. And I'm also looking down on the icebergs down below, and they are actually moving around just a little bit. It's really wild to see how they just kind of are affected by the slightest breeze. It just blows them around. And with it being so quiet right now, there's no one else up here that I can see. And there's hardly any wind. I can hear rockfall coming off the mountains. And that's always kind of exciting and ominous at the same time, to try to see if you can see where it's coming from. But you always hope that you're not underneath it. So probably another 20, 30 minutes, and we're going to start getting some usable light here on Cerro Torre. All right, photography. It's kind of the wait, hurry kind of scenario in that I'm all here, I'm in position. I'm just waiting for the light to get really good now. So it's a little bit of a waiting game. Cerro Torre is glowing with the first light of the day. Well, it happens fast. You sit around, wait all morning, freezing, and then the sun pops and you get the beautiful alpenglow. And then just like that, it's into daylight and the drama is over. It's like this, which is still gorgeous, but not quite as dramatic as the peak of alpenglow. So I think I'm gonna hang out here a little longer and just take this place in a little bit more. And then I'm gonna head back down to camp, check on Kathy, and start thinking about maybe hiking out of here. But this region of Patagonia is just magical. I cannot tell you how much you guys should come here if you like this sort of thing. This is an incredible stop. We've really enjoyed it. I want to thank you guys for watching this video today. Please hit the like and subscribe button down below. And a massive thank you to our patrons. You guys are the ones who make this possible. Thank you so much. If you want to join our Patreon, click the link right here. On Patreon, we have field guides, which is detailed information to some of our best trips. We also will give you guys updates and behind-the-scenes looks. But that's it for today from Cerro Torre, Patagonia. I hope I see you somewhere over the horizon. Take care, guys. We're out of here.